So we're having a conversation this morning about when men speak. Back off what's been going on, Yvonne Nelson and Sarkodie. So Yvonne Nelson releases a book. Everybody kind of chills about it. Then Sarkodie releases an unofficial response because he hasn't indicated it's directed at a particular person. It's an unofficial response. From the innuendos, you may be able to conclude who it is directed as. But of course, all of that is in your mind. And then there's been the bashing. So on social media, it's been two extremes. Those who think it's a good thing that Sarkodie responded, and it's a bad thing that he responded because men must be quiet and, as it were, respect the womanhood. The question we're asking this morning is, in that light and theme of respecting the womanhood, are we shutting our men up? Are we saying that they can't tell their side of the story? When they do tell their side of the story, must it be laced with respect and reverence in spite of how they may feel about what may have been done to them, or about the fact that sometimes women just don't tell the truth? Because women are not saints, but sometimes the narrative makes it seem like, women are perfect and we're always victims and we always tell the truth, but we don't. Sometimes we lie. Sometimes we tell men we're having their babies when they're not their babies. Sometimes we try to collect money from men who we shouldn't be collecting money from. So we're not going to play the saints this morning. The heart of the conversation is, can men speak up? Are they allowed to? Is it okay? And when they do speak up, does society have the right to dictate the manner in which they speak up? Joining us for this conversation this morning, we have our ancestor Winston Amwa, who is moderating from across the room, and Mami C. Thompson is joining us, as well as the veritable esteemed Emefa Apao. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
I am surprised Emefa Apao is in very early. It tells you that she's interested in the conversation. But anymore, before I get into anything, you made a point. In those days, when you were growing up, you were probably told that as a man, what a woman says is what is believed. And you realize that even in times past, in the olden days, when a woman says you made her pregnant, they tell you, why is she mentioning your name if you had nothing to do with her? A lot of people in the past had fathered children which were not even theirs, because when it comes to that hearing, you don't have a say. You just go there, and nobody, even in today's world, asks whether you use protection or not. They just ask you, did you have anything to do with her, even in this era of civilization. So yes, it is true that a lot of the time, men, per even our socialization, are made to believe that you do not talk. Everything a man says against a woman, quickly it is interpreted to mean, one, either the man doesn't respect womanhood, or two, he's been unfair to women. But having said that, years ago when you started this whole Beijing conference and started the whole issues about the girl child and everything, I would say that it's reached a time that we have to take a second look at how we treat men in our part of the world. Look, we saw it the last time. More men commit suicide than women. You had a man who was going to kill himself. He just happened to have tuned into Lexus Bill at the time, and his life got saved. Imagine what would have happened to him. How many men are able to cry and cry their pains away? They say, Bemansun. So they are dying within. And on top of that, say anything today, and you are reminded how you are a man and you are supposed to be strong, as if strength is determined by masculinity. So you're right. Today men have become, if I put it out, endangered species. In a world that is supposed to be ours, we are rather the victims. And sadly, we tag along, keeping quiet. I'll end on this note. In a lot of the conversations with the boys, they say, when the men send messages and they say, oh, my CEO, my boss, my commander-in-chief, they mean it. They are not just saying it, they mean it. Because if you talk small, they'll wake you up at midnight. Now, midnight, are you going to beat your wife? You will keep quiet. She will sleep. You cannot sleep. You are suffering within.
We, the women, expect men to speak up, yet we don't want them to speak up as well. What really do we want as women? Sometimes I ask. Once you raise issues with a man, you expect the man to also have a say. in it. But you don't beat someone and teach them how to cry. Show them, don't cry this way, cry that way. No, it doesn't work that way. I think we should allow men to speak up. For me, that's what I think. I think that men should be able to speak up. I want a man to be able to speak up and tell me what I did wrong. But I won't want a man to, be suppressed. We lie. We say the things that we should not say about men. And yet we say that men should not speak up. Why should men not speak up? Why should they not speak up?
Society.
You should be ready.
Men.
You should be ready to face the consequences of your action. The things you say to a man, if they say the same thing to you in equal measure, can you take it? Why then do we then run to womanhood? When a man speaks, it's not manhood. When a woman speaks, then, why is a man speaking that way to a woman? Then we run to the shelter of womanhood. For me, I don't know. I know that people would start saying all kinds of things because of the position that one holds right here. But for me, I feel it's about time that as women, if we want men to be the men that we want them to be, then we should be ready to hear them. They should have a say as well. Well, we should move from the days when once, like you're saying, that once you've had anything to do with a man, when you say that you are pregnant, then you are right.
Exactly.
When you say that I've been raped, you are right. Without any say. It gets to a point where you even go to court, you even go to families and they are like, be you the Ephraim, say, unina and dada, and ye be you the Ephraim. Be Saudi Ephraim. I'm sure you've heard that before.
Oh, I've heard it before.
Be Saudi Ephraim, without asking that, as a woman also, have you had anything, have you done anything else apart from this particular man? Just the fact that I can produce evidence that, Winston, I have been in a certain room with you before. Once I say that you've impregnated me, it should be taken.
Sadly.
I'm not particular reference to this matter or Yvonne Nelson Sarkodie issue, but I feel that generally that's the society that we are creating. And as a mother of a boy, I worry.
I thought the same thing.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking I have a boy too.
Exactly.
So what if he grows up and somebody says, I'm pregnant.
Yes.
Or I'm this. Can he not actually question and say, well, actually, I know you were sleeping with so and so. So therefore, let's get a paternity test. I mean, are you
once
taking
that's
away that right
once you
from
say
my
that,
son?
then it means that you are disrespecting womanhood.
How are you disrespecting womanhood by asking
questioning
for
her?
accountability?
By questioning her,
You see, I mean, you've made a very important point. Anyone makes the point, before you come in, my Mia, she makes the point about accountability. And it's one of the things you will realize. Women demand too much accountability from men. Ask the woman the same questions.
Yeah.
Ask the woman the same questions. And why you don't trust me? Why you don't do this? Why you don't do that? Why you don't do that? Even when it comes to, there was a comment the last time that even when a man asks, for instance, then the next point is, so why? You don't trust that I bought it at the right price?
It's just your track record sometimes too. That's
No.
Exactly.
Women don't like accountability. No, but that's true. Women don't like accountability.
You're very quiet. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, because from where I sit, there's no straight answer to the question you're asking. And it's quite a sensitive issue here. I have 3 brothers. I have about 5 nephews. And I've observed that they usually do not talk. Even when you decide to be deliberate about asking them, what the problem is, they will not tell you. They will find a way to divert your attention from it. So, a quick story about my younger brother was not well. He visited me at home. I mean, we hosted a family dinner, and he came over. I realized that he was distancing himself. So, I gave him a chair to sit on the porch, and then when everybody was in there busy talking, I went to him quietly to ask what the problem was. I knew from a distance that there was something not right. But then, so I asked him, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. 2 days later, my mom calls me, he's been admitted at the hospital. But it started from that evening, and he didn't want to, and my mom didn't even know. So he was later admitted, and if something had occurred, something terrible had occurred, nobody would have known. So it is mainly how our men have been socialized, like you earlier mentioned, that men don't cry, blah blah blah.
How about pain?
But apart from that, before that thing, when men were growing up and dominating women, I'm asking myself, so at that point when women couldn't even talk in the presence of men, this is a gathering of men, you cannot talk. Even on the pulpit, a woman can't stand on the pulpit. At that time, when you felt it was a man's world, couldn't you have also shared your emotions as well? Or it was just all macho, But I tend to ask myself, now that women are being heard more, is it that at that time when we're not being heard, we're stronger than you, or we're not?
Are you asking me that?
I'm asking you because now you're saying that when men tend to speak, they become victims. And I'm wondering when and how do they become victims? And why would a man become victim when a man is sincerely telling me what he or she is going through? Why would I judge such a person? Am I looking at them?
They are judged mostly when they give you in equal measure the things that you raise.
Yeah, so
because when you say certain things to a man and they said the same thing to you in equal measure, then it's like you're not respecting women. Why are you talking to a woman that way? Why are you treating a woman that way?
Okay.
Emma, but you have a daughter and a son as well, right?
Both.
So do I. When the girls are beating the boys,
they're like,
we'll say that, deal with your brother. As soon as your son touches your daughter, you don't beat women.
You don't beat women.
And of course, we are trying to teach them the right thing. But then we should also be able to tell the girls, you don't beat men either. Because men are also being abused.
You see, they've just made a very great point. When a woman is abusing men, you see her as strong. When a man does same, he's a weakling. He should go face his colleague men. Automatically, what you have done to that man is to tell him that, okay, don't do this to a woman.
It's okay for a woman to abuse.
Of course,
you.
nobody is saying a man should beat a woman. I don't even subscribe to fighting in the first place. So nobody should go and fight. When you have issues, just discuss it and move on. But when you socialize men that way, in their minds as they move on with life, they see it in a certain way. Over time, women also begin to say, okay, so in this world, when I do something to a man, it is good. But if he does the same thing to me, it is wrong.
Exactly.
And so she lives with that kind of thinking. That's her socialization. She's moving on. And over time, I said, look, over time, the men begin to, you sit down with men, and they're telling you the issues they go through in their lives. They talk and talk and talk and talk, and they end with, Charlie Nancy anything. As a reason, but not everybody is able to cope. So for those who are not able to cope, slowly they are dying. Slowly they are dying. And so the stronger men are actually telling the other guys, Charlie, unia, but the reality is that the person is dying within. And the playing of the victim is where the problem is. I think that, look, since all of you are talking about it, the most important thing now is to begin to change the socialization of even men and women. Because if you don't change it, it will continue like that. Men will be seen as, as for you're a man, so don't behave this, don't behave that way. Then the woman is seen, as for you're a woman, so you can do this, you can do that. End of story.
And Winston, I'm going to do this even though it's not something I would have liked to. There was a comment about the fact that somebody spoke up, and then one guy said to him that don't be childish.
Yes.
By speaking up, by telling his truth, we don't have to agree with the way somebody tells their truth.
Exactly.
But if one person can tell the truth, then the other person, why does it make somebody childish? Because this is my art and this is how I chose to express. When Picasso painted famous paintings of how he felt, did we say it was childish? If somebody's a rapper and this is my art, therefore I express myself that way, why is it childish? Does the person not have a right to say this is this is this, this is that? I don't get it. But anyway, we'd love to hear what you think. Cool.
Good morning, Enimo. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. So what's on your mind?
In fact, I'm glad it came from a woman that you made mention that, look, if a man speaks, if a woman speaks, and then a man responds in equal measure, we need not chastise a man. And I'm going to digress a bit. So some men who have been in this situation before, that look, was someone even thinking how I know what we are discussing right now. The man was feeling, even the wife of the man was feeling. And even the man would have been going through, even to touch the meal, the food prepared by the woman that evening. When men have fights with the woman, and then the woman prepares food, any man that is listening right now will attest to the fact that the mental torture men go through even before they touch their meal. Because you don't know what you are going to be poisoned or not. And men go through a lot. And because we are being brought up, well, if a woman does this, you are supposed to be what? Be macho or what? We shouldn't talk. Men go through a lot. And in fact, this thing, and then something that happened, were you even thinking of, if you are even to think of the woman right now, whoever made that thing, wrote that thing, was she even thinking of what the mental torture of the woman with the man right now was going through now? Something happened some years ago. Why bring it up now? If not, you want to make, what was he expecting? That the man, after stalking, the man should be quiet.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Nana Kweku. Phone lines are open 0302-216-541. We're asking you, when can men speak up? Confidence is joining us from Nsawam. Confidence, good morning.
Good morning, Yvonne and the team. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I think that Joy FM, God is using your platform to save a lot of men from some of these problems we're talking about. And for me, I don't know if it would be prudent to share my personal problem, the plight that I'm going through on air. But I'll be so glad if
Please go ahead and share.
Of his producer, so we speak offline. In fact, you have hit the nail right on the head. We have been made to falsely think that this is the world of men. But ironically, it is the world of women. Why do I say so? Women exploit a lot of the vulnerabilities of men to their advantage. Yet you dare not speak. When you speak, like you say, and all that. Look, for the past 5 months, I have been weeping like a child because of some of this trauma, torture that I'm going through. I think that we must begin to reorient our society and not compel men to harbor pain and bitterness within them. Like you say, we've done scientific research and it is proven that a lot of men commit suicide or die before women because of these things. I think that I will be so glad we have a repeat of this program. God willing, next week. God be with you all.
Thank you so much, Confidence. Thank you. Our producers are on standby to have that conversation with you. Edem is calling from Osu. Edem, good morning.
Good morning, anymore.
Hi, what's on your mind?
Hi. So I think that we're not being fair to our men. You know, I have brothers, and these things are getting too much. I have a brother who can just get into alcoholism anytime he has issues with his girlfriend, and he can't talk about it. He can't talk about it. The girl cheats. He cannot talk about it. You know, it's too much. Why do we... See, beef doesn't have formula. What? Beef doesn't have formula. Why do you go and hit somebody and then you determine how they hit you back? No, you cannot do that. So if a woman respects her own womanhood, you won't be sleeping with 2 or more guys at the same time. Who does that? And then when it's thrown back into your face, you're like, okay, womanhood. What is womanhood? We should respect our own womanhood and stop this kind of things. I think it's getting too much. The men must speak up. They are dying in silence. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Edem. Remember, our phone lines are open 0302-216-541, 0302-216-541, and we're asking the question, when can men speak up? And William is joining us from Gomoa. William, good morning. Yes.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. What's on your mind?
Okay. You know, let's all calm the tension down. Almost 50 years ago, when my old boy was advising us, he told us something, that never argue with a woman because you will never win. You see, I always tell my fellow men that when he was advising, he said some things which is strictly for men only. But since this forum as women listening, I only simply say, men, always have evidence. It's not in the nature of a man to talk plenty. Definitely, you can never out-talk a woman. So it's just a matter of having evidence, make your point, and you move on. The woman will talk. It's natural. It's there. We've seen it. On a lighter note, there was this case where a man was beating a wife, and his friend came to him and said, "My friend, why are you beating a woman? Don't do that. You go find another woman and bring her in." The woman said, "No, don't listen to your friend. You keep beating me." It only tells you one thing, that they will. If we, the men, we try, no matter what we do, we can never out-talk a woman in anything. So all we have to do is just have evidence, and it will make our world easier, because the tensions are too much. If you say it, they will say, "Oh, you are being disrespectful." That's how society has cultured it. There is no way we can unculture what has been cultured now.
Thank you so much for that, William. Kwame is joining us from Medina. Kwame is our last caller. Hello, Kwame.
Hello.
Hi,
Good
Kwame.
Morning.
Good morning. What's on your mind?
I think I'm really enjoying the discussion you guys are having this morning, and personally, I've realized this is something that needs to be spoken about a lot. Because, for example, a woman accuses a man of cheating, and when at the same time the man accuses a woman of cheating, or accuses her of suspecting that she's cheating on TV, why should a man accuse her of cheating? But equally, she can accuse a man of cheating, even when she doesn't have any facts. You know, I've personally got a friend who calls time and time again, and I've come to realize that whenever we are talking, he literally just wants someone to listen to him. Not necessarily because he wants an advice, but because things are eating him up. So most of the time, I personally even call him just to check up on him. We talk about issues, and he just pours everything out, only because he helped his woman to get to United States of America, paying everything with his own money. He's still here now. Obani timi bagana esanko na bema no te anu krampo onim se ne yere abagana esanko.
Wow.
I mean, how long can men be suffering like this? You know, the third one I want to talk about is even taking care of home. A man uses his finances to literally take care of home. Like we are all saying, the man is supposed to take care of the family. We do that with joy. Now, this is the point where when the kids are all over the place, there are a whole lot of house chores and everything. As men, sometimes you are supportive to help by bathing the kids, by helping in cooking, cleaning the house and everything. At the same time, our finances are going into taking care of the house. But when, as a man, just for once, you forget not to help, or you just want to watch a match, football, and you are not able to bathe the kids or help with some of these house chores, if you're doing. Meanwhile, when it comes to finances, she thinks, "Oh, Buana me wow." But you helping her with house chores, when you forget to help out with just once, it becomes a whole issue on its own.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kwame from Medina. Really good points. I think this conversation is not one that must end or will end today. So we'll definitely continue.